and welcome to my book nook.
We are monsters. We give and we take.
For those that are new around here, the name's Rainy. I read all types of books, primarily fantasy romance, so if you're interested in that, please like and subscribe to my channel down below. It really helps my channel grow. In today's video, I know it is a little bit late, but it is technically only October 6th when I am posting this, so I think it's acceptable. And that is my Q4 anticipated releases books. So basically, books that are coming out in October, November, and December of 2024 that I'm interested in, that I have on my radar, that I would love to get to, although ultimately I don't know if I really will because I have not been doing a fabulous job with months prior. But still, I want to do this, okay? Now I know that there are books that I am not mentioning that are major books that are probably coming out in October, November, and December, but I've decided I don't need to talk about any and every book. I need to talk about the ones that I'm interested in. So they're going to be primarily romantic-y. You might see a thriller or things pop on depending on like if it's an author that I've loved from before and whatnot, but for the most part it's probably going to be, you know, the ones that I like. So anyway, with that being said, I will say we are so October heavy, and then there's a couple in November and December. October is just the month for releases apparently, because I have I think over 10, and then in the other months I think I have like 4 or 5. So with that being said, let's just dive right in. Okay, so starting off with the only book that has actually come out already, because it came out on October 1st, is Heir by Sabaa Tahir. Now, I've never read an Ember in the Ashes series, and I do own that. And so I don't know if I actually have to read those first before this. So if somebody knows the answer to that, let me know. Like, I don't know if the world is interconnected or not. But it says, this one is an orphan, an outcast, a prince, and a killer who will bring an empire to its knees. Okay, this sounds really, really good. I am very excited to get to this. I've always wanted to read a book from her. I might actually start here. It looks like it's doing pretty good so far, but yeah, it looks really cool. And I've heard that people love her, so I feel like I should give her a try. The next one that comes out on October 8th, which I am so excited because I already have it in my hands because my bookstore had it out literally 5 days early, is A Reign of Rose by Kate Golden. And I'm sure that I'm buddy reading this with Katie and Sarah at some point in the month because we buddy read A Promise of Peridot together, which is the second one. And this one is a little bit of a chunker. It's 500 pages, but I'm very excited. This is the conclusion to the Sacred Stones trilogy. So if you've never read it, it starts with A Dawn of Onyx and then A Promise of Peridot and then A Reign of Rose. So I'm not really going to say what's going on in this, but I am so excited. This has been just a fun little comfort like series. It's not going to be like an all-time favorite or anything, but I've had a really great time with this romantasy. I love Kane, I love Arwen, and I'm excited to see how it goes, especially because I feel like the second book kind of suffered from middle syndrome, and so I'm really hoping that, you know, this one turns itself around ultimately, but I still really enjoyed book 2, so I'm excited to finish a series for once. And on October 15th, we have a book that I've already read this year that came out a while ago, but they are getting new rebranded covers, and honestly, the covers I have are old and ugly and I don't like them, and so I'm very excited for the new ones. And that is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen, which you'll probably see the other books in the series when they come out in different months. I think this cover is beautiful. I think it's stunning. Did I love this book? No, I gave it a 3.5, I think, but I've heard that the series gets stronger as it goes on, and so I'm very excited to read this book. It's basically an arranged marriage spy like type book where the girl knows that she needs to overthrow the king, but in order to do that, she's gonna like be married to him and like be sneaky and spy shisty and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, it was a very good time. It was just a little more political than I was hoping for, but that doesn't surprise me because I've heard that it can be a political book. So I'm still excited for it to re-release so I can get this new cover. And also coming out October 15th, which is one of the only thriller/horror books that I have on this list, is American Rapture by C.J. Lead, who also wrote Mayfly, who I'm kind of obsessed with. That book was just so beyond weird that for a week I didn't know whether it was 1-star or 5-star. I'm pretty sure it was 5-star because I still think about that book on the daily. Like, there are scenes ingrained in my mind like a curling iron that I'll never get out of my head. And this one says, a virus is spreading across America, transforming the infected and making them feral with lust. Sophie, a good Catholic girl, must traverse the hellscape of the Midwest to try to find her family while the world around her burns. Along the way, she discovers there are far worse fates than dying a virgin. Honestly, the cover is really pretty. So I'm excited to get to this soon. Up next, also coming out on October 15th, is Monarch by Sophie Lark, which is the sequel to Grimstone, which I know is like a dark academia, I think fantasy romance, or maybe it's just a dark academia romance. I don't really know, but I just know that I love Miss Sophie Lark, so I basically buy any book that she comes out with, and since this is the sequel, and I figure I would love Grimstone, I ended up pre-ordering this, so it is on its way to me currently. I just love Miss Sophie so very much, so gotta support her any way I can. Then coming out on October 22nd is Spectacular by Stephanie Garber, which I believe it is a novella that either happens right after or a prequel to the Caraval series by her, which that series is a 4-star series to me in general. I absolutely loved it. I had a fun time with it, and no, I have not continued on to The Ballad of Never After or whatever the first one is. I've read the first one, but not the other ones, Once Upon a Broken Heart. And I really want to finish that series. But I'm very excited for this because I've heard it's going to be cute, it's going to be fun. There's a Barnes & Noble special edition that I've pre-ordered that I'm very excited to get to, but I just want to dive back into that world again because I had a really great time with Caraval, and I think it's just a cute, fun, whimsical time. Then we have a book coming out on October 22nd, which is Bloodguard by Cece Robson. Now, I say that it's coming out on the 22nd because I have pre-ordered this book 2 different times, in April and July, I think, and it keeps getting pushed back. And so I don't know if this book is ever going to come out, and I don't have it pre-ordered currently because after the 3rd time I was like, okay, I'm not pre-ordering this book because I don't know if this book is ever going to come out. It looks beautiful, but I want to know why it's taking so long to come out, okay? It says, 100 years, tens of thousands of gladiators, and today only one will rise. That's not really giving me a lot, but everyone is just saying, update, delayed again, delayed again, delayed again. What's the problem? I don't really know. So I'm a little scared, if we're being honest. But it looks and sounds like something I would like. So we're just gonna keep trying. Then on October 29th, we have Apples Dipped in Gold, which is by Scarlett St. Clair. And that is one of the books in her fairy tale retelling book. So the first book she had was Mountains Made of Glass, which I read with Brittany and her Patreon a couple of months back. And it was a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And it was one of the most accurate retellings that I've ever read. And I loved it so much and I had the best time. So then when I found out the second one was coming out, and I'm pretty sure it is a Snow White type one, I was like, well, bet I'm going to read this. I actually need to know Brittany comes out this month so that we can buddy read this together because it's probably only a little over 100 pages. Looks like it's, oh, actually, no, it's 240. Okay, it's still short, but I'm so excited. The cover is beautiful. I know it's going to be great, and I just love it so very much. Then also on October 29th is a book duology that has already come out, and it is having these beautiful special editions from Barnes & Noble that of course I'm going to get because it's one of my favorite series, and that is One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. I mean, look at this. Like, it's seriously beautiful, and I need to have it on my shelves. I love this series. I very much am obsessed with it. I just think it's a fun little duology. Dark, gothic, fantastical elements, and I'm just living my best life when I'm reading that series. So, of course, I need to own it in a special edition form. And then also coming out on October 29th is Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wang. Now this has already come out as well, but they're coming out with a special edition of this, and so I decided I wanted to read it because I'm pretty sure M.L. Wang, if I'm not mistaken, also wrote The Sword of Kaigen, which is a standalone fantasy book that I've been wanting to read for the longest time, so I'm excited to get to that. But I'm going to start with this one. And you know what? We're just going to say the first sentence of this. Magic has made the city of Tiran an industrial utopia, but magic has a cost, and the collectors have come calling. You know what? Sounds great. It has really good ratings, and I'm excited, and it looks pretty. So we're gonna see if I can read a more fantasy book than romantasy and enjoy it. Now we're finally moving on to November, which I have 6 books for you in November. And starting with the first one that comes out on November 5th is Hexed by Emily McIntyre. This is the last book in her Cursed or Wicked Fairy Tales. I can't remember what this series is called, but it's the last one. So we've had like Hooked and Scarred and Wretched and Twisted and Crossed, and now we finally have Hexed. And Hexed is her Little Mermaid one. I'm so excited. Little Mermaid is one of my favorites, and I'm sure this is going to be great. I'm a little sad because the special editions of the books that I got from, I think, Dark and Quirky did not include this one. And so I hope if they include it later that I will be able to get a hold of it. Actually, I have Mystic, and I'm not subscribed to Mystic anymore, so I'm afraid that I'm going to miss out on that. So I might need to join again before they decide to finish the series, or else that'll be a little sad. But very excited for this still. Also coming out on November 5th, which is one of my most anticipated books for the end of the year, is Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage, which is the 3rd book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and I need this book, okay? I need Teddy and Gus's book. If you don't know, I'm absolutely obsessed with this series. I had to read these for an local book club, and I absolutely tapped the heck out of them. Loved my best life. These are fabulous cowboy romance books. Like, I loved these even more than Elsie Silver's Chestnut Springs. Like, these were just, everything. And book number 2 is my favorite. I absolutely love them so very much. But Teddy and Gus have had some banter, okay, in these last 2 books. And so I'm ready for Teddy and Gus to give it to me in their very own book. So I could not be more excited. I can't wait to tab it. I'm just so excited. Then coming out on November 12th is The Traitor Queen, which is the sequel to The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. I'm obviously not going to say anything about it because it's the sequel, but I do want to read it. That's the book that I'm actually on. Once again, the covers are beautiful. I need to own them as they come out, so that's why it's on this list. Then the number one book that I'm beyond excited for, that comes out November 19th, that I am so beyond excited for, that I wanted to take the day off to do sprints for, and now I've ultimately realized I just can't because it is the week before Thanksgiving break, and I have a winter concert coming up, and I only see my 4th and 5th graders on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so maybe I'll take off a different day, is The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Ms. Carissa Broadman. We know I'm obsessed with this series. That whole shelf is Carissa. I have more special editions right there. I mean, I literally just got my special edition book box from Acrylics. Is that the name of the company? And it came with like this special little picture of them. Obsessed. Anyway, the 3rd book comes out, which means I need to read book 2. No, I have not read Ashes. And before everyone comes at me, I just haven't wanted the journey to end. I haven't wanted it to end. But currently I am rereading and annotating Serpents and Living My Best Life. So those will be done by the time we get here. But this is my number one book out of the whole year that I've been waiting for. I just need another book in this world. I just do. So I'm so freaking excited. Coming out on November 19th is The Half King by Melissa Landers, which this was the Fairy Loot Romantasy book for September. And I mean, it's absolutely stunning. Like, they just do such a good job. I'm always so impressed. But anyway, I don't really know about this one, but I know it says, in a world where birth order determines your fate, what if everything you believed about yourself was a lie? And you know what? That's what we're going with. This sounds so fun. I do know it was told as Beauty and the Beast meets Sandman, to which I'm like, okay, you had me there. Although, I am a little sick of most fairy tale retellings ending up being like Beauty and the Beast. I'm like, come on, pick another one. But I'm still excited for this. I'm sure it's going to be a good time. And this edition is just stunning. And then coming out on November 26th, which is another special edition of a book that has already been out, is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. But like, look at this edition. It's beautiful. Now, have I read The Poppy War? No. I read 2 chapters when I was going to do it for a read along with my friends, and I didn't finish after that. But I loved the 2 chapters that I was reading, which makes me think that I'm going to really enjoy this book, and I need to hop on the train and get the special edition. However, I really hope that they're planning on doing the special editions for the rest of the series, or else I'm going to be very sad, and we're going to have some problems. And so those are my anticipated releases for November, and we're finally moving on to December, and I only have 4. And one is a book that is also being re-released but having a special edition, and that is Hooked by Emily McIntyre, coming out December 3rd. I mean, look at the special edition. It's very beautiful. Do I need it on my shelves? Maybe. I did give the first book, I gave Hooked 4 stars, but honestly, I really, really enjoyed it. And that's just a pretty edition. I am just a slave to special editions. They're just so beautiful. They get me each and every time, and I could not care less. And on December 10th, we have a Monsoon Rising, which is a sequel to The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzin. Have I read that yet? No. Do I own that book? Yes. Am I going to probably buy this right when it comes out? Probably not, but it's still on my radar because I do want to read that. Like, it's a book that I should have read already and I just haven't gotten to. You know, the age-old story of should have gotten to this book but didn't. And I know it's a Raylo fanfic series, but I'm still interested in it nonetheless. And coming out on December 10th is the 3rd book in the Bridge Kingdom series, Inadequate Heir. So it's another release and re-release, and it is a beautiful cover. Once again, I just need to have these on my shelves. They are just stunning. And the last one I've seen a couple of people talk about on their anticipated releases, and it is December 17th, A Cruel Thirst by Angela Montoya. And all I know is it says, a fledgling vampire and a headstrong vampire huntress must work together against their better judgment to rid the world of monsters in this irresistible romantic fantasy. That sounds so good. The cover is beautiful. Took my breath away when I saw it. I've never heard of this author, never heard of this book before, but it sounds so freaking good. And I know that it has Spanish, I guess, like a Spanish flair to it. And I'm hoping that it's way better than the Hacienda was, because I did not like the Hacienda. And I have not read Vampires of El Norte yet, which is by the same author. But I'm hoping that this is everything that those books were trying to give me. I'm very excited for this one. And with that being said, those are all the books that I have on my radar / are excited for in quarter 4. If you got to the end of this, then let's put a vampire emoji, because that is the last book that I was talking about. Let me know if there's any book that you are super, super excited for that's coming out in October, November, or December, or which one of these you would prioritize if we read the same type of books. And if you like what you see and you want to support me further, you can always just follow me on all my social media handles, which is rainybluereads. You can join my Patreon, where it is friends themed, and you know, you can either be a lobster, a chicken, a duck, a Smelly Cat or Hugsy the Penguin, and we have a great time over there. And I love each and every one of my patrons already. They are fabulous. They are the best. We're going to be having some fun things coming along the pipe, like readathons and book clubs and buddy reads and all these different things. So make sure to go look into it. If you're interested, it'll be underneath this video. And with that being said, I will see you guys in another video super soon. Bye.